You know that feeling, right? You see a stock with a huge, juicy dividend. You jump in, and then you watch the stock price just crumble, wiping out all your income. It's a classic trap. But what if I told you the real secret to building long-term dividend wealth wasn't about chasing those big numbers at all? What if it was something completely different? All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to unpack a dividend strategy that, honestly, most people just don't get. It's a strategy that looks for something way more powerful than just a big payout check today. And a quick reminder, of course, this is all for educational purposes. We're digging into the numbers here, but this is definitely not financial advice. So we're going to explore this whole idea through one specific fund. It's America's biggest dividend ETF, actually, the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, ticker VIG. And right away, you're going to see it's a bit of a paradox. Just look at these numbers. I mean, VIG is an absolute behemoth. We're talking over $124 billion in assets. And it's dirt cheap, too, with an expense ratio of just 0.06%. But then you look at the yield, about 1.6%. And you're probably thinking, wait, that's it? A dividend ETF with a yield that low? Well, believe it or not, that small number is the whole secret. See, the whole point here is that VIG isn't playing the high yield game. It's playing the dividend growth game. The idea is simple. The really strong, built-to-last companies aren't necessarily the ones with the flashiest dividend today. They're the ones that can consistently raise that dividend year in and year out, no matter what the economy is doing. That's the real sign of a quality business. So, how does VIG actually find these gems? Well, its whole strategy is built on this really clever two-step filter. Think of this as the secret sauce of the whole ETF. Okay, so step one, it starts by finding companies that have raised their dividend for at least 10 years straight. That right there is a pretty tough hurdle. But then comes the crazy part. It looks at that list of solid companies and it throws out the top 25% with the highest yields. I know, right? Why on earth would it do that? It's because a crazy high yield is often a massive red flag. It can mean the stock price has just fallen off a cliff, and that dividend might be the next thing to get cut. And this is it's the most elegant part of the whole thing. VIG is designed to automatically dodge these dividend traps. It literally protects you from that exact problem we mentioned at the very beginning. Okay, so the theory sounds amazing. Quality, safety, yeah. But how does it actually perform when things get ugly? When the market really gets hit? Let's put it to the test, the ultimate stress test. Let's wind the clock back to 2022. Remember that? Inflation was out of control, the Fed was hiking rates faster than they had in 40 years, and pretty much everything was getting crushed. So in that environment, what do you think happened to VIG's basket of quality stocks? Well, the numbers are pretty shocking. The S&P 500 got demolished, down over 18%. Even the big, popular, high-yield ETFs like SCHD and VYM were negative. But VIG, with its weird quality-first approach, it did something else entirely. It actually finished the year positive, plus 3%. Just let that sink in for a second. In one of the worst years for the market in recent memory, this thing didn't just protect your capital, it grew it. That is the quality shield, right there in the numbers. We're talking about a 21 percentage point swing compared to the S&P 500, a positive 3% versus a negative 18%. That's not luck. That is exactly what happens when you filter for financially bulletproof companies. It's all the proof you need of just how powerful this defensive strategy can be. But here's the thing. VIG isn't just about playing defense. It's also an incredible long-term compounding engine. And to really get this, we have to talk about something called yield on cost. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the income you get each year divided by the price you first paid for the investment, not what it's worth today. Okay, look at this. Let's say you invest $100,000. Today, a typical high-yield ETF might pay you $3,000 a year, way more than VIG's $1,600. Sure, the high-yield fund looks better now, but just watch. As VIG's companies keep raising their dividends, that income stream starts to snowball, and eventually, they cross. Fast forward 30 years, and it's not even a competition. That initial investment in VIG is now throwing off way more cash every single year. That's the magic of a growing dividend. So who are these companies driving all this growth? We're not talking about some risky tech startups. Nope. We're talking about the biggest names in the game. You've got giants in tech, finance, healthcare. Think Microsoft, Apple, JP Morgan. These are the blue-chip cash printing machines that have the power to keep growing those dividends for decades. Okay, let's be real though. This strategy is not a silver bullet. It's super important to know the downsides. First, that starting yield is low, so if you need income right now, this is not for you. Second, when the market is in a crazy bull run led by tech, VIG can definitely lag behind the S&P 500. And probably the biggest thing, this is a long-term play. It's not a get-rich-quick thing. You have to give it time to do its work. So, knowing all that, how do you figure out if this approach is a good fit for you? Let's make it simple. Look, if you're building wealth for the long haul, like you've got 20 years or more, this strategy is practically designed for you. It's also fantastic if you're building towards retirement and reinvesting those dividends along the way. But, and this is a big but, if you are already retired and you need to pay your bills with investment income today, its low starting yield makes it the wrong tool for the job. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? VIG is not built for income today. It's built for financial freedom 20 years from now. It's a trade-off, less cash in your pocket today for what could be a much bigger portfolio and a much bigger income stream when you really need it. So it really comes down to one question. Are you investing for the next 3 months or for the next 30 years? If you appreciate this kind of deep dive into the data, make sure you subscribe. We've got plenty more coming.